Hi, I'm Jennifer Kohler. I am the president and co-founder of Atlas Assistance Dogs, and we are really excited to tell you about one of our programs today, Team Set in Motion.
I am Shelley. I am a certified Atlas trainer as well as a certified fitness coach. And I am one of the instructors on the Team Set in Motion, and I'm excited too to be here. And we have two guests with us, Michelle and Christina. Do you want to introduce yourselves?
My name is Michelle Cohen, and Abby and I have had, there's Abby, have had the great privilege to be working with Atlas and working together.
I'm Christina Kent, and my service dog and I are certified team with Atlas, and my dog's name is Wilma.
Hey, Jen, you want to kick it off and just talk a little bit about Atlas?
Sure. So Atlas Assistance Dogs is a nonprofit. We're in our 9th year, and our focus is multifold. First and foremost, we really believe that anyone who would benefit from an assistance dog should be able to have one, should be able to afford to have one, and that person and the dog should be able to thrive together. We also believe strongly in encouraging the animal-human bond and in promoting education related to positive reinforcement training, related to disability rights and advocacy, related to service dog training. And so this course is a really neat foundational option for people who may not live where our service dog client program is available, may not be ready for it, or may really just want to train their own dog as a pet dog. This course really ties deeply across multiple parts of our mission. And so by taking this course, which we offer at a subsidized, extremely low rate to make it affordable, you are learning. Actually, I'll let Shelley talk about what you're learning in the course. But if you want to learn more about Atlas as an organization, the URL is www.atlasdog.org. And we are a 501c3 and we welcome all donations. Thank you.
Thank you. So just a little bit about the background of Team Set in Motion and why we actually created it. Just kind of building on what Jen said, we were getting we still get a lot of inquiries from people that either have maybe a puppy or an adolescent dog, or they have a shelter dog, and they would like to join the client program, but they don't know how to get from A to B, right? Their dog's not quite ready to join the client program. So we created the Team Set in Motion program. And as we were creating it, we realized that it would be very beneficial for not only people training their own service dogs, but for people with pet dogs, for breeders, for people that maybe wanted to get their feet wet and just learn about positive reinforcement training and how to train dogs, facility dogs, therapy dogs. So there's just a lot of good benefits for everybody from this course. So I am going to share my screen. And bring up my PowerPoint. I hope everybody can see this. Oop, here we go. Okay, so what's in the course? So there's a lot in this course. We've stuffed a lot of things in here. Creating and implementing a training plan to include training objectives that will be for your end goal, as well as doing individual training sessions, just short training sessions. Markers, mechanics, reinforcements. 90% of the struggles we see with our dogs is on us as the handler. So we want to make sure you as the handler understand you have really good mechanics, your dog understands your reinforcement procedures, you understand what a marker is, how to use them, timing of the markers. We talk a lot about cues, how to add cues, how to transfer cues, the difference between like a verbal cue, a physical cue, an environmental cue. Dog body language, again, really important. We need to know what our dogs are saying to us. Different training methods. So we talk about targeting and capturing and luring, and then how to shape some of these behaviors, different working around distractions, a lot of games and pattern games to teach you how to work around distractions, targets, I am a target platform junkie. Just about every behavior that I teach, I'm using a target. Healing, we have a ton of healing games through here. And one of the things that I want to emphasize too is that it's not like we're telling you, okay, this is how you need to teach healing. We're trying to give you all the tools that you need to be able to work with you and your dog. So you can have the best training plan, put that together to work with you and your dog. How to build focus, how to build attention, how to build confidence, the foundation skills that you need, play skills. We talk about fitness, impulse control. A lot of the areas that we see dogs struggling in are things like being able to leave food on the ground, to be able to walk past other dogs. Husbandry, body handling is another place we see them struggling a lot. We do a lot of body awareness exercises. We want to teach our dogs that they have 4 legs and they can move independently from each other. We talk about behavior management approaches. Now, this is not like for any kind of aggression or reactivity. This is just your normal puppy adolescent dog jumping on people, stealing things out of the trash can, counter surfing. And we go through public outings, like how the best way to start your public access, starting, in pet friendly places and moving up to like indoor service dog only places and going through, of course, all the novelties, right? So we can prepare your dog for different surfaces, different sounds, different noises, different movements, all that kind of thing. And how you will learn. So there's a mix of written material, handouts, worksheets, and videos throughout the course. Also throughout the course, we have what we call checkpoints, which are quizzes, just to ensure that you understand the material and that we're presenting the material in the best way possible for you to understand. There are video assignments that we want you to submit if you're working with your dog. So this is a chance for you to submit the assignment and get feedback from instructors that look at both, what the dog's doing and what you're doing. The course is self-paced, which is great. So you just work at it in your leisure, in your pajamas, eating popcorn, whatever you want to do. We've got a private Facebook group for the Team Set in Motion members, as well as Atlas clients and in training clients, where you can share, some of your victories, put videos up, pictures, just kind of what you're doing, what you're working on with your dog. And then twice a month, we have Zoom office hour calls where everybody gets together and talks about training. Sometimes we'll have challenges, so I'll bring in other trainers as well to talk on the office hours calls. And then the course layout. In a minute, I'm going to jump into the course to actually show you. But just real quickly, the course is a spiraling curriculum. So you're going to get a skill, and we're going to revisit that skill throughout the course, building on its complexity. So for example, in Module 2, when we're talking about different training methods, for capturing, we use down as an example. So in Module 2, you're capturing a down. By the time you get to Module 7, we've also incorporated, how to work around distractions, how to add duration to it, how to add distance to it if you want to, how to put the cue on it, how to change the cue if you need to do that. And then there's 7 modules, 7 sections, and each one is broken into skills, life skills, confidence, motivation, and nuggets. Nuggets is kind of my favorite. Nuggets are things that kind of feel like everybody should know, but we didn't know exactly where to put them in the course. So we just made this section for nuggets. All right, let me get out of here. And let's jump over here to the course. So once you enroll in the course, you'll get a link. This is our online platform. This is Canvas. And when you open up the course, you'll open it up to your dashboard. Now your dashboard won't have all these tiles on it. This is my dashboard right here. You'll also have, I believe there's 2 on there. One is for introduction into Atlas, and then you will have the Team Set in Motion course. So just click on the course right here, and it's going to take you to the home page. We've got just like a little blurb here with some instructions on it, and then you can see these tiles down here. So you're going to start
Shelley,
right here.
we're getting some feedback
Sorry.
to slow down a little.
Okay, I'm talking too fast, sorry. So you've got all your sections are right here on the home page, and you need to go through them in order because it is a spiraling curriculum. You can't jump around. So you can't go from, say, section 3 to section 7. You need to complete section 3, go to section 4, complete section 4. The other way that you can look at the course is to click on modules. And you can see here, if you scroll down, you've got your first module, and you can see how, like I said, I broke it up. So there's skills, life skills, motivation, confidence, and nuggets. Let's just hop down here. So here in level 3, for your skills, we have recall, healing, sit with duration, and down with a stand. So the first one is recalls. So for all of the skills that we have in here, there may be kind of a little blurb just explaining, just talking about it, talking about how we teach it, why we teach it this way. And then there's going to be like a how to teach section in here with all of the skills, and then followed by videos that go along with the how to teach section. And then we'll give you games to practice along the way. Right, so here we're coming into recalls using, just different, like I said, try to give you different options and different ways to train it. So we're trying to make sure it's accessible for everybody. We talk about healing. We have, like I said, we have tons of healing games through here, and we kind of explain why we teach it the way we teach it. And we have skills practice. So again, a lot of videos to kind of help you, give you a visual, walk you through it. Jen, is anything you want to add to this?
No, I think just recognizing that this is self-paced. And so you can go through at your own pace, you can reread, you can jump. Once you've completed a given section, you're welcome to go back to it. So we really tried to make this accessible for a number of different learning styles. Our platform canvas that we're using does work with a lot of accessibility platforms. So you can have a screen reader read the pages to you. There is an app that will work on your mobile device or tablet if you prefer to work with that versus on your computer. And so the goal is really to make this course as accessible as possible to everybody.
Did anybody have any questions about this before I just close up the course? Anything that anybody else wants to see in the course?
I've answered the questions that have been coming in live about being recorded. So we don't have any immediate questions right now.
Okay, I'm going to stop my share right here. And then we have a couple of questions that we thought were relevant to this that we were going to ask. Michelle and Christina have both started the Team Set in Motion course before they entered our client certification program. So let me pull up. So Christina,
okay, before Christina goes, one
Okay.
question: does the course have closed captions? So all the videos are hosted on YouTube, so you are able to watch the closed captions, and then any of the text you can use the screen reader, which, like I said, defeat the closed captioning. But so if you need the closed captions, yes, all videos are closed captioned. And all images, we've been working on adding image descriptions. So if you find ones that need better ones, please let us know. Sorry,
Okay,
go
good.
for it.
That's okay. It's okay. I'm just making sure that you were finished. So Christina, how has the Team Set in Motion helped you improve your training skills?
Team Set in Motion gave me the tools to train Wilma from when she was a puppy all the way to preparing for the Atlas Client Certification Program. It's self-paced with awesome videos and written guides that break down skills like sit, stay, and leash walking in super clear ways. I liked submitting the videos to get feedback from the teaching assistants on how to better improve my skills. And the program also helped me build confidence and my bond with my dog, Wilma.
Michelle, do you want me to
Um,
repeat the question?
no, that's okay.
Okay.
Abby and I got together. She was probably, I don't know, 3, and she's a shelter dog. So we really had to start from the very beginning. And I just felt this course helped me understand what I needed to do in helping her and getting to a point where she was able to do these skills, and I was able to hear what she needed, and that prepared us to move forward as a team.
Yeah, you guys have an awesome story. That's for sure. Michelle, if you could tell someone new to service dog training one thing, what would it be?
One thing,
Mhm.
listen with all your senses. Listen with your ears. Listen with visually what you see and incorporate it. And I'm using listen as a global term, but listening to what your dog is telling you.
Mhm. Right? Because your dog changes from one day to the next, for sure.
Yes, we all do.
Yeah, right. Christina, what about you? What's one thing that you would tell somebody?
I'd say be patient with yourself and your dog. Training a service dog takes time, especially when you have physical challenges like I do. And Team Set in Motion helped me learn to be patient with her. And the small wins, like when Wilma learned to stay, are really huge. So,
And then Christina, what's one piece of advice you've gained from Atlas that has made a big impact on you?
um, meet your dog where they are and build from there. So, as someone with physical challenges, I needed to train Wilma in ways that worked for both of us. And Atlas taught me to focus on small, achievable steps. Um, for example, when Wilma struggled with distractions on walks, I used this advice to reward her for tiny moments of focus, like glancing at me. Over time, those small wins added up, and now she's a rock star service dog.
Yes, she is. Where's Wilma?
She's taking a nap on the couch.
What about you, Michelle?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, what's one piece of advice you've gained from Atlas that has made a big impact?
First, I want to say that Christina summed it up so beautifully in terms of patience and the small victories. And very often we have such high expectations of ourselves and our dogs. So I have to agree with Christina that patience is such a key teaching. And the way that it was presented when teams set in motion and being at your own pace and your dog's pace was really teaching patience, acceptance, and like Christina said, meeting your dog where they are and meeting yourself where you are.
Mhm. Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. And we hear that a lot. I mean, there's just training a service dog is hard. I mean, there's no way around it, especially when you have a disability. So we try to make it as accessible for everybody as we can, and give us as good as feedback. And if certainly if somebody emails me with a question and I don't have an answer for it, I have a whole team of trainers that I can go to and be like, this isn't working, help me. Does anybody have any other questions about Team Set in Motion? It is a monthly subscription and it's $59.95 a month, or $59.95 for 3 months. For 3 months, and then you can re-up as often as you need to. I would say on average, it probably takes people 6 months to go through the course.
I feel like doing it again.
Well, you have access to part of it as a client, the C1 course.
And we do find some people like to do that, that they like to just
Mhm.
maintain access. They like to maintain access to the community. So they will just, because it is such an affordable rate for most people, some people will just maintain that access. And even sometimes consider it somewhat of a donation to Atlas, and a way to keep, the ability if they do have questions or they want to submit a video and show what's going on with their dog. I think for the price point that we have it available, given that not only is there a huge amount of content, but that with the twice a month live Zoom sessions where you have access to challenges to try to do things, you're getting direct feedback from professional instructors, you're getting feedback from your peers. The amount of learning potential is just amazingly huge. And so it's something that I'd love to see. I know Michelle described, adopting her dog. I would love to see rescues or shelters offer this as a course that new adopters take. I think it gives an amazing amount of resources for new dog owners or for your new pet parents or for people that just that particular dog is new to them. And it gives some structure to you that even if you have a lot of experience working with dogs, it's awfully nice to just have a reminder and a structure of, okay, let's do this today. Now let's do this with your dog today. And so it's a really valuable tool and really approachable tool for many different ages of dogs and dogs in very different places in their training journey.
And I have found even as a professional trainer, when I'm training every once in a while, I'll submit a video to one of the other Atlas trainers for feedback because, you can get sloppy, you forget things, you don't see things. So it's been really helpful to have that community and that feedback.
If I may say something,
Sure.
I think that this is so important for dog owners because Abby and I have worked together for a very long time, so I know it's a little different. But when I bring her anywhere, oh, your dog is so well behaved, she's so wonderful. And it's like I want to say, well, spend some time with your dog, spend some time in training. And because of you guys and everything we've done, I have trained kids who were terrified of dogs to be able to, because of what Abby knows and what she can communicate, that children who were petrified of dogs. And I just had that experience today where they're able to relate to an animal. And so I think it's so important for dog parents in general to have that access and that relationship.
Thank you.
We don't have any additional online questions right now, other than ones I've been able to easily answer in the chat. I don't know if Shelley, if you want to dig a little bit more into one of the topics, just to give people an example of kind of what we might cover, or if there's something Christina and Michelle that, a topic that is of interest to you or that you remember covering in there.
one of the topics that we just covered that is in the course, but I think people kind of struggle with it, was the concept of leave it. So for a long time, it was taught, and we teach it both ways, where it's a verbal leave it, and then there's also the difference between managing the dog and the dog self-managing themselves, right? So if we put leave it on a verbal cue, so we're always having to be hyper vigilant, checking the environment, make sure there's no food on the ground, that there's not a dog coming, that we have to tell our dog to leave it, or do we teach like the food on the ground and other distractions as an environmental cue for the dog to notice them and then look back at us, right? In that instance, we're teaching the dog to self-manage, right? So that we're not having to always be hypervigilant and watching what's going on in the environment. So again, we teach it both ways, but I think we're starting to kind of lean more to the environmental cue right now with Leave It. Again, it's just a way to kind of get the dog thinking for themselves, thinking out of the box, self-managing themselves. So that was like one of the discussions that we just had recently. We've also talked about dog play, right? Because a lot of people, again, that comes back to dog body language. You know, what's safe? What is, you know, is the dog actually playing? Is it escalating? You know, how do you tell these kind of things? So talking a lot about dog body language, body handling. You know, we want to make sure your dog's comfortable being touched all over, having their paws picked up, having their ears checked. Can you look at their teeth? Can you clip their nails without the struggle? You know, we want to see the dog just like being joyful for all this kind of stuff. So we work on a lot of that with the course too. Again, just building confidence, building focus, building engagement.
And I do want to call out that the course is 100% positive reinforcement. And we mean that very intentionally. So we are not, and Shelley talked a little bit about that with teaching cooperative care kind of skills, that we want the dog to be opting into the training. We want them to be opting into the care. So all the methods that we are using are using reinforcers that the dog finds valuable. So that could be food, that could be play. We are making sure they're not feeling pressured. We're not, you know, kind of using any sort of physical pressure or coercion to manipulate them to do things. We really believe deeply in the dog thriving in what they do. And so, for example, with Leave It, that's a cue that we're carefully teaching, so it's a positive choice for the dog. I've seen dogs that are taught Leave It with more fear and loud corrections that will kind of terrifyingly look away from the object they're trying to walk around, versus a dog who just confidently walks past. So we're very careful that the methods we use to teach are ones that build your dog's confidence and that build your skills as a handler to help think from the perspective of what do I want my dog to do? Not so much what do I not want them to do, but what do I want them to do instead? And then you can train those behaviors. So I did want to call out that's something we're very deeply committed to as an organization. And this course very much reflects that ideology. We have one comment in the chat. It says, I have found shaping be better for some dogs instead of luring. The dog I'm training now for me is so different. Absolutely. And so Shelley, do you want to maybe explain for people that are newer to training what shaping is, and give an example of that? Because I think that's something that traditional pet dog trainers do a lot with luring, and shaping can be really powerful. And so maybe give a little bit of description about what shaping is, an example of it.
So shaping, like a good example would be teaching a dog to lie down on a mat. So instead of, you know, your end goal is the dog lies down on the mat and stays on the mat and just kind of settles. And that's not going to happen like immediately. So we're going to shape that. We're going to shape it by just like small approximations to our end goal behavior. So we may put a mat directly in front of us that is so big that the dog can't help but step on it when they come to us to get a treat, right? So that's kind of the first part of it. We're going to mark that. We're going to give them a treat because there they are standing on the mat. After they do that for a couple of times, I may make the mat a little bit smaller, the dog steps on it, they get the treat. Then maybe make it just a little bit smaller, right? So they get the idea that what they're getting paid for is being on that mat, right? Then I may ask for them, wait until I have all 4 feet on the mat, right? Then get them to lay down on the mat, kind of thing. So again, it's not something that happens like immediately. You don't jump from this is what I want to happen to the end goal, right? You've got points in between that you're marking and rewarding for till you get to your end goal.
And shaping can really be, there's kind of, you may hear free shaping where we're just waiting for the dog to offer behavior on their own. And there also can be just shaping where you're helping them along the way. You may still use a cue as part of that. You may not. One of the lovely things about shaping is it gets us out of the way. So for dogs that get really distracted by a food lure or how we move, or we might be confusing them, it helps them learn it in the way that they're comfortable. For dogs that are maybe nervous about moving their body certain ways, it can really be empowering for them to be able to, it's like, oh, I'm going to just move myself under this chair. Oh, that's what a down is. Oh, I'm going to lay against, maybe you have a dog that's nervous about rolling on their side. Well, you can gradually capture, when do they lean against a pillow? When do they lean against things? You can also shape things that you really can't use targets and lures. You can, or kind of capture like moments they offer things, and then shape more complex behaviors that you could never do with just luring. So it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. And treat placement, that's like my new obsession right now is, where can I place that treat to get, a nice clean loop, which means that when I ask for the behavior happens, I mark it, the dog eats the reward, and he's set up to go right back into the next repetition for that. So do I hand deliver? Do I toss the treat? Do I put the treat in a bowl so I actually not have the treats in my hand? So we talk a lot about reinforcement procedures, treat placement, things like that in the course as well.
We have a question of, how do you feel about platform training? 100% positive. I believe that's the question of, are we 100% in favor of platform training?
Yeah, I love platform training as long as it's positive, right? You're not tying the dog to the platform or anything like that, right? The dog has the choice whether they want to get on the platform or not. But I use platforms for a lot of behaviors, especially positional behaviors.
And if I didn't interpret the question properly, feel free to ask for more details. I think the main thing is just, yeah, as you said, making sure the dog feels safe on the platform, and that whatever you're using as a platform is stable and strong enough and won't move underneath the dog, and they won't slip on it, and that it's, ergonomic and safe for their body to move that way.
You're shaking your head because you're.
I'm nodding. Oh, her comment was, yes, she only uses
Yeah.
positive reinforcement training. She can't see me shaking my head. Well, I guess she can.
Yes, you can. We just can't see what you're doing.
That's right. Yeah, I'm just responding to the chats.
Cool. Yeah, I love platforms. I love targets.
And this person commented that her husband builds her equipment, which is a great point, that you don't necessarily have to go buy expensive equipment. Shelley, you do a lot of this brainstorming and problem solving in this course. I don't know if you want to talk about that, of how to make things more accessible just with using different things you can find around the home or build.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can use around the home, just from rugs to pillows. I've shopped a lot of like Goodwill's thrift stores looking for things. I've gone to Home Depot and hit their cutoff bins, and then gone and found a manager and told them what I was doing, working with a service dog. And they're like, that's out of the cutoff bin, go ahead and take that. I'll go buy old yoga mats at the thrift stores so I can glue those on top of the surface. So they've got like nice grippy, non-skid surfaces on them for the dogs. I've made them out of placemats, like vinyl placemats. They make really good like paw targets.
We have a question of how did this course transition into the service dog program working with a team facilitator?
Well, Jen, you're probably better to answer that
Yeah,
question.
and so one thing to make clear, the Team Set in Motion course does not require your dog to be a service dog candidate. We do call out in the course that we're not going to be working on serious behavior challenges, aggression challenges, things like that. But any dog can benefit from what we're teaching in this course. So going through it doesn't guarantee that the dog is going to be suitable for service dog work or guarantee that you and your dog would be accepted into our service dog program. If we know in advance, we do ask that of, are you intending to train your dog as a service dog? You know, we can talk about that. We can, you know, give you access to some of the assessments we do. Those are also on our website. But the way this is a really nice transition is, say your dog is maybe 8 months old or 10 months old, or they're a puppy. This program, if you go through the program successfully with your dog, you will absolutely be able to meet all of the readiness assessment that we do in person with the dog, looking for training skills and capabilities, assuming again that they are comfortable in public spaces, they're comfortable in other dogs and other people. So just their baseline temperament is appropriate, but you will learn all of the skills you need here. And so as you're going through, our client program requires the dog to be at least 14 months of age and have their canine good citizen. And so you can start applying once your dog is 12 months old. So say your dog is 10 months old, you can go through 1 or 2 rounds of Team Set in Motion, really be starting to build that solid foundation, start your application process, where you're getting together your vet records. We're making sure we have somebody that can support you in your area. And then you would transition. And in that program, rather than Team Set in Motion, which is online and virtual, our client certification program is in person. And so there we work with you hands-on, typically for 9 months, it can be longer if you need, meeting with you and your dog in person and teaching you how to refine the different disability tasks, really work in all the different areas that you and your dog need, teaching you how to self-advocate. A good number of people that go through Team Set in Motion then plan to transition to our client program. Christine and Michelle are both examples of that, of people who started Team Set in Motion and then shifted to our client program. So it's a really nice prep program that's really affordable and accessible. It's one of the big reasons we developed it, is we didn't want to have to keep saying, I'm sorry, we can't help you if people's dogs weren't the right age or they weren't in an area that we served. And then we've seen how much it benefits all kinds of dogs. And then one comment
also,
that someone,
okay.
one other comment from Wendy of that enjoying putting costumes on their dogs just to get them used to being around, or she puts costumes on to get her dog used to being around different kinds of people. Or yeah, looking at working in a park and sitting at a bench with dogs, just kind of looking back and acknowledging her as people walk by and distractions. Great ideas. Sorry, Shelley, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to add to that, that because you are submitting videos for us, we can see if there are areas that the dog's struggling and maybe recommend a private trainer to, you know, kind of help with that. We've also had, you know, the conversation with people that after seeing and working with them for a couple of months in the Team Set in Motion program, that we really didn't think that their dog needed a change, was not going to be a service dog. You know, the dog wasn't comfortable in public, just had other issues. So we have had those conversations as well. We're not going to let somebody who's thinking they're going to be in our client program go through the Team Set in Motion if their dog is not going to make a suitable service dog.
I should clarify that we absolutely will let you go through Team Set in Motion, but we're not going to not tell you that we're
Yes.
seeing red
Yes.
flags. We'll make sure we let you know what we're seeing as soon as we see anything to give you that feedback. But you are absolutely welcome to do the program.
Yeah.
No other questions at the moment online.
Okay.
If Michelle or Christina, you guys had any comments or questions for Shelley or me that relate?
Really?
What did you say? I didn't hear.
Not really.
Oh, not really. Okay.
I have a
Everyone.
comment because I'm so grateful because I see so many people, friends and all with their dogs. And I think a trained pet parent and a trained dog just make life with your pet so much better. You know, whether you're going forward in a, you know, in service dog training or just general training. And it's so important. And I've used a lot of the information. For instance, my friend right now is looking for a shelter dog, and I suggested certain things for her to watch for and to do. And so hopefully she will get, you know, a dog pretty soon. And I'm going to recommend that she do this course because it's so important. So thank you.
Thank you.
Answering a couple of questions. I'll answer the fast one first. Our client certification program applications have reopened officially. So we were doing some updates to our program to meet requirements for Assistance Dog International that we're right in the middle of the candidacy process with. So we didn't want to have it be a moving target. So I do apologize. We took our client certification applications down for longer than intended. They are officially live again. So we welcome you applying. We're excited to have you using their kind of latest and greatest version. And then the other question, do we have to get our dogs certified through you to become a facilitator? So I'll give just a little summary of our different models. So what team facilitators are skilled volunteers who we train. They get access to a subset of our professional academy. And I should say Team Set in Motion is on our platform that our professional trainer academy is on, as well as our fitness course and some of our other courses that we offer standalone. Our team facilitators are volunteers who get access to a subset of that, as well as doing some intensive virtual workshops where we really dig into some of the things that are critical for our facilitators to know. They are not our facilitators, may be people that have gone through our client program. They may be people that have gone through our trainer program, or they may not be. We have facilitators who have their own service dogs. In fact, over half of our facilitators are people themselves that identify as having a disability. And that's a really nice way to get additional skills and get an entry and mentorship into service dog training. Those applications we will probably not reopen for another cohort until later this fall. We want to make sure we have finished our accreditation process with Assistance Dog International and any other tweaks we have to make to our programs before we start the next round of training our facilitators, so that we're not, again, it's not a moving target underneath them. And so we will let people know when those open back up. So, you know, feel free to ping us at info@atlasdog.org and let us know you're interested. We are keeping a list of people who've mentioned that to us. And then we will definitely be posting on social media when those open back up. But we're trying to be very careful of kind of slowly going through things rather than making quick changes that we would have to change again for either our clients or our volunteers. We want to kind of do things at a pace that works for everybody and that is consistent with what Assistance Dog International, our understanding of what they require is. We do expect to hopefully finish that accreditation process sometime this summer, which applies just to our client certification program. It does not apply to people going through Team Set in Motion. It does not apply to anybody going through our trainer academy. Like as a trainer, it's our client certification program that is being accredited. So I just want to make sure that was clear. Which we're very excited about. Very few
Really
owner
good,
trainer
yeah.
programs have that option of international recognition.
How many facilitators do we have now?
59.
Nice.
Ah, yeah, I'm seeing someone that was saying that they were at the ADI conference in Orlando. Ah, so they probably met us there. But yeah, 59 in 20 different states. So we're continuing to try to build up more people and set areas so that we can have broader group support. Where I live in Seattle, Washington, we have a higher concentration that so we can do group gatherings together, have clients come together. So we're trying to build up that more and more in different areas so we can support that. Really want people to have that community. The next question, will you allow a new facilitator state that does already have an ADI owner trainer program? Absolutely. So there are lots of different programs out there, and we recognize we are just one. And there are lots of different ways people need help getting a service dog or training a dog, and we may not be the program for them. So we just want to be part of the solution. And so, we will absolutely work with, facilitators. Like I said, we do prioritize certain locations. We try to keep our cohorts of facilitators that go through not too big so that those workshops are able to be personalized and that people can feel engaged in discussing. Once you get to a group of about 15 people, that gets really hard on a Zoom call to have any kind of meaningful conversation. We're usually breaking up into much smaller groups. And so we will absolutely consider anybody who applies. Sometimes those people may realize this isn't the right time for them. They might start in the courses and then need to pause and not be able to do the workshop. We did virtualize the workshop during COVID and then found that made it a lot more accessible for people. And so we've kept that approach, which makes it a lot less exhausting. There's not travel required. There's not, these intensive multi-day sessions where you're not at home required. So we really do what we can to make it accessible. And we collaborate with other owner trainer programs, and we collaborate with other service dog raising programs. Comment of, I can't wait. I was an owner trainer with an owner trainer ADI org, but they're shifting gears to facility dogs. And where are you located? Amber, who's making comments. And that's tough. That's really tough when programs leave an area or who they focus on changes. I will say I am seeing some more owner trainer orgs working their way through ADI. So on Arizona, okay. I am seeing there's more and more people realizing in the industry that people with disabilities can actually train their own dogs. There was a really pretty big bias amongst programs that wasn't possible. And as all of us here can attest, we know that it is. It's not for everybody. It may not be possible for everybody. But it's an option we want everybody to have. And so if it fits what you want. I am seeing more and more orgs do owner trainer models. I don't know of any others that do a model like we do that's nationwide, where we work with people where they are. Versus requiring them to come to you at a facility for an extended amount of time. Amber's comment I love it. I enjoyed working with the team so much and miss that aspect. Thank you for all you were doing. So thank you. Yeah, it's really fun. And it's fun to see the community of people that our team facilitators are also the people who act as TAs for this course. And so if you want a little extra help in just how do you navigate the content of the course, that's one way our team facilitators also engage with the students of this course. And so it's fun to see people that start out as people in Team Set in Motion that get excited, that realize maybe they want to go into a career in dog training, or they come and do the client program. Maybe they get involved in volunteering with the organization in other ways. And so we have a number of people who are trainers, facilitators, volunteers, clients that wear a lot of different hats. So we really encourage that community. And if you're going through one of our classes like Team Set in Motion or any of our classes, then we really encourage, please give us feedback. If you don't agree with how something is taught, if you have a better idea, you have more examples, that's how we get better. We are constantly changing. Shelley kind of hinted to, we're shifting to different ways of doing things. We're always updating our materials. Our knowledge in the dog training world is always changing. Our knowledge of working with people with disabilities and different cognitive processing needs is always changing. So we're always updating what we do. So we really welcome that input. And I know I mentioned our other courses. Another great course for people going through Team Set in Motion to consider is our fitness program. Again, that's geared toward the client for help working on fitness of their own dog, recognizing that working dogs spend a lot of time doing repetitive behaviors. Maybe they're just on one side of you. They may be doing just a lot of things that we want to make sure to maintain their bodies, but that's also a really valuable course for any dog. And it's very much been focused that it's accessible for people with a lot of different types of mobility abilities, verbal abilities, cognitive abilities. And so I would encourage people, in addition to our Team Set in Motion course, go check out all of our courses. That there are many that aren't just for dog trainers, that will really help you expand your relationship with your dog.
Right. If you're looking for a service dog candidate, we have a service dog selection course. It kind of goes through like all the different breeds and task related, the best kind of dogs suited for the tasks. So how to do an assessment.
Any other final questions from the audience? And I'll type that in the chat too.
Do you want to put the link in the chat for the Team Set in Motion page?
That is a great idea.
There's also a lot more information on that page. There's an FAQ on that page as well.
There is.
Yeah.
I can figure out how to get back to that. So there's the link there. And from there, you can also navigate to find all of our other programs.
Cool beans.
Yeah, thank you for those who asked questions and gave great comments and feedback. They said this will be available. We have recorded this. This will be available. And if anybody has follow-up questions, feel free to reach out to us. I'm going to put the info at atlasdog.org. So for people watching us going through, if you have other questions about our programs, feel free to email us and reach out and we can tell you more.
Well, thanks, Michelle and Christina, for joining.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah.
good to see you guys again.
Should we stop her there?
I would say so.